Good afternoon, dear friend. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention, yet touches us all, no matter our age. We're going to talk about love after 60. Not just romantic love, though that plays a part, but also love between friends, between family members, between generations, and even the most important kind of love of all, the love we give ourselves. Love doesn't stop when we grow older. In fact, many people find that love becomes deeper, richer, and more meaningful with time. But there are truths about love after 60 that few people talk about, things we don't often hear until we live them. Today, we'll explore those truths together. Some will make you smile. Some might bring tears. But all of them come from a place of honesty, care, and understanding. Let's begin. 1. Love changes, and that's okay. When we're young, love often feels like fire. It burns bright, fast, passionate, full of longing, desire, and dreams of forever. But as we pass 60, love starts to shift. It becomes quieter, slower, deeper. And that's not a bad thing. It means love becomes less about proving yourself and more about simply being with someone, without pressure, without performance, without pretending. At this stage of life, love isn't about chasing excitement, it's about finding comfort in each other's presence. It's about knowing someone so well that silence speaks louder than words. It's about choosing someone not because you have to, but because you want to. And that kind of love? It's rare. It's beautiful. It's real. So if you've noticed that love feels different now than it did at 30 or 40, that's okay. It's not fading. It's deepening. 2. Loss shapes how we love. If you've lived long enough, you know what loss feels like. You may have lost a spouse, a partner, a best friend, someone who knew your heart better than anyone else. That kind of loss leaves a mark. And when you open your heart again, whether through friendship, companionship, or romance, it comes with a quiet fear. Fear of loving too much. Fear of losing again. Fear of being vulnerable. And that's normal. Because when you've loved deeply before, opening up again can feel like standing on the edge of something big, not sure if you're ready to jump. But here's something many people don't say out loud: loving again after loss doesn't mean forgetting the past. It means honoring it while making space for new joy. There's no rule that says you only get to love once. Your heart is still alive, still capable, still deserving of connection. And sometimes, the most healing love comes later, not because it replaces what was lost, but because it reminds you that you're still meant to be loved. 3. Your needs change, and that's beautiful. As we age, our bodies change. Our energy changes. Our priorities change. And so do the ways we experience love. You may not hold hands the same way you used to. You may not dance all night. You may not even say "I love you" every day. But that doesn't mean love is any less real. Sometimes, love looks like sitting side by side, quietly watching the sunrise. Sometimes, it looks like a phone call just to check in. Sometimes, it looks like helping someone take their medicine, gently, without fuss. After 60, love becomes more practical, more patient, more present. It's not about grand gestures, it's about showing up. It's about seeing someone's pain and staying anyway. It's about knowing someone's flaws and loving them still. It's about giving support even when you're tired. It's about receiving care even when pride tries to stop you. And that kind of love? It's powerful. It's lasting. It's healing. 4. Friendship becomes a different kind of love. When we think of love, we often imagine romance. But after 60, many people discover that love shows up in unexpected places, especially in friendships. Friendships become deeper, more precious, more essential. Because as children grow up, as partners pass away, as old routines fade, friends become the ones who stay. They're the ones who remember your stories. who sit with you during hard times, who laugh with you over small things. And sometimes they become the closest thing to family you have left. But here's something we rarely talk about. As we grow older, some friendships naturally drift apart. People move. Health changes. Energy fades. Life gets busy. And that can leave a quiet loneliness, even if you're surrounded by people. But please know this, you are never too old to make new friends. Even at 70, even at 80, even at 90, new connections are still possible. New laughter, new memories. All it takes is the courage to show up and let someone see you. 5. The fear of being alone is real, and so is the need for independence. One of the hardest parts of growing older is facing the possibility of being alone. Whether you've always been single, recently lost a partner, or simply watched your circle shrink, loneliness can feel heavy. And yes, love can help ease that weight. But here's something very real: you deserve to love, but you also deserve to keep your independence. Many people hesitate to start new relationships after 60 because they worry about losing themselves. They worry about becoming dependent. They worry about giving too much. They worry about falling into patterns they thought they'd left behind. These feelings are valid, because love shouldn't mean giving up your freedom. It should mean walking alongside someone, not leaning too heavily. So if you're thinking about opening your heart again, ask yourself, do I still feel like me when I'm with this person? Can I be honest, even when I'm tired or scared? Do I feel free to live my own life? Because the best love, at any age, gives you room to breathe. 6. Love can come from unexpected places. After 60, love often finds us in surprising ways. It might come from a neighbor who checks on you every morning, from a fellow churchgoer who listens when you speak, from a grandchild who holds your hand without saying a word, from a caregiver who treats you with dignity and kindness. Love isn't always romance. Sometimes it's a hug from someone who understands. Sometimes it's a letter in the mail from someone far away. Sometimes it's just someone remembering your name. And these kinds of love, the quiet, steady, everyday kind, can be the most comforting of all. So if you feel lonely, don't wait for love to look a certain way. Open your eyes to the love already around you. It might not wear flowers or write poetry, but it's there. 7. Love means learning to love yourself again. This is perhaps the most important truth of all. After 60, many people struggle with how they see themselves. Maybe you've changed physically. Maybe you feel slower, less energetic, less desirable. Maybe you wonder if you're still lovable, truly, deeply lovable. And that question can hurt. But here's something you need to hear: you are still worthy of love, just as you are. Every wrinkle, every gray hair, every ache in your body tells a story. A story of survival, of resilience, of wisdom. And that makes you beautiful, not in the way youth sees beauty, but in the way life does. Learning to love yourself again, to accept your body, your pace, your worth, is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Because when you love yourself, you open the door for others to love you too, not for what you can do, but for who you are. 8. Grandchildren bring a different kind of love. There's a special kind of love that comes from grandchildren. It's playful. It's full of wonder. It's filled with questions, hugs, and innocent joy. And for many seniors, this kind of love becomes a lifeline. Because when you watch your grandchildren grow, you're reminded that life continues, even as your own slows down. You're reminded that you're part of something bigger, that your legacy lives on. And sometimes, in their laughter, you rediscover your own. So if you're lucky enough to have grandchildren, hold on to those moments tightly. Because that love, pure, unfiltered, full of light, can heal more than you realize. 9. Reconnecting with old friends feels like coming home. Have you ever looked back on your younger years and missed someone? Someone you haven't talked to in decades. Someone who made you laugh. Someone who saw you clearly. As we grow older, many people feel a quiet pull to reconnect. Maybe it's an old school friend. Maybe it's someone you dated briefly. Maybe it's someone you were close to, but life pulled you apart. Technology has made it easier than ever to find people again. And sometimes, reconnection brings a sense of peace. Not necessarily romantic, not necessarily lifelong, but healing. Because sometimes, just knowing someone still remembers you, still cares, can be enough. So if you've thought about reaching out, consider it. Because even at 70, 80, or beyond, it's never too late to say, "Hey, I miss you." 10. Sometimes, the deepest love comes from within. The last truth we'll talk about today is one that many people overlook. Sometimes, the deepest, most lasting love you'll ever find is the love you learn to give yourself. Because after a lifetime of giving, caring, sacrificing, it's easy to forget how to receive. To receive love. To receive rest. To receive kindness, especially from yourself. And yet, self-love is the foundation of everything. It's what lets you forgive yourself for mistakes. It's what helps you face aging with grace. It's what allows you to open your heart again, even when it's been broken. Self-love means taking care of your body with kindness, speaking to yourself the way you'd speak to a dear friend, allowing yourself to rest without guilt, saying no when you need to, letting go of comparisons, finding joy in small things. It's not selfish, it's sacred. Because when you love yourself deeply, you're able to love others more fully. Now that we've covered the 10 truths about love after 60, let's talk about a few more things people rarely discuss, but that deeply shape how we experience love in later life. 1. Love can be found in silence. Many people think love needs to be loud, full of declarations and grand gestures. But after 60, love often grows in quiet moments. Like sitting beside someone and not needing to speak. Like looking at each other across the table and smiling, just because. Like knowing exactly what the other needs, without being asked. That kind of love, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself, is rare. And it's one of the most peaceful kinds of love you can find. 2. You learn what matters most. When you're younger, love can be complicated. You might focus on looks, chemistry, or shared goals. But as you grow older, love simplifies. You stop worrying about impressing someone. You stop trying to fix what isn't working. You stop waiting for someone to change. Instead, you learn to value things like presence, patience, laughter, honesty, quiet companionship, and those are the things that truly hold love together. 3. Romance looks different, and that's fine. Romance after 60 often looks different than it did in your 20s. There's less urgency, less drama, less rushing. Instead, romance becomes softer, gentler, more intentional. It's less about passion and more about affection. Less about sex and more about touch. Less about fireworks and more about warmth. Holding hands. A soft kiss. A note left on the table. Those small gestures become the language of love. And for many people, that kind of romance feels truer than anything they've known before. 4. Love requires healing, and that takes time. If you've been through loss, grief, or heartbreak, you know that love doesn't come easily. Healing isn't quick. It's slow. Sometimes painful. Often messy. But it's necessary, because if you rush into love before you've healed, you might carry old wounds into a new relationship, and that can hurt both of you. So if you're learning to love again, give yourself permission to go slow. Take your time. Feel your sadness. Remember your joy. Allow yourself to grieve and to hope again. Because healing is part of love. And healing is part of living. 5. Love grows when you least expect it. One of the most beautiful surprises of growing older is that love often arrives when you least expect it. You might think you're done with romance. You might believe you've loved your last great love. You might tell yourself that chapter is over. And then, out of nowhere, someone sits beside you, or calls you out of the blue, or walks into your life in the most ordinary way. And suddenly, you feel seen again. Not for what you used to be, but for who you are now. Love doesn't stop because you've grown older. Sometimes, it waits until you're ready. until you've learned to love yourself, until you've healed enough to let someone else in, until you've opened your heart again, even if just a little. And when it finally arrives, it feels like a gift, like a second chance, like a quiet miracle. Dear viewer, growing older doesn't mean the end of love. It means the beginning of a different kind of love. One that knows your name. One that honors your past. One that walks gently beside you. Whether it's the love of a partner, a friend, a child, a grandchild, or even your own heart, love is still yours. You are still loved. You are still lovable. You are still meant to give and receive love at any age. Thank you for being here today. If this video touched your heart, please leave a comment below sharing what love means to you now and what you've learned about it as you've grown older. And if you found value in this content, please click the bell and subscribe. There's much more to come, videos filled with warmth, wisdom, and real-life guidance for life after 60. Until next time, take care of your heart. You are unique, and you deserve to live with health, dignity, and joy. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below sharing what love means to you now, or one lesson you've learned about love after 60. Your words could bring comfort and connection to someone else who needs to hear them. And if this video spoke to your heart, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss another moment of healing, learning, and connection. Until next time, walk gently through life and carry love in your heart. See you soon.